Hello kaiju fans of all kinds, I'm back with another video. Today I'm starting a new series called Good and Bad. Pretty much, it's basically where I just talk about good things and bad things about a movie. Well, obviously kaiju movies for the most part. So it's not really a full review of the movie, it's just me giving my thoughts on the good things about the movie and the bad things about the movie. But anyways, the first film I'm doing in the series is Rebirth of Mothra 2, probably one of the most despised kaiju films ever made. Well, okay, I don't know about that, but it's pretty hated on, and I'd be lying if I don't see why. But there's some good things about it. Basically, quick overview, it was the second movie in the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, a trilogy of Mothra films that came out in the 90s, right after Godzilla, well, died. But anyways, Rebirth of Mothra 2 came out in 1997. So like I said, it's not a full-on review of the movie, but obviously I'll give overviews of the movies and some background. So first, the good. One thing I really actually like in this movie is Mothra's forms. She still has her form Mothra Leo from the last movie. Then later on, due to having to fight the monster in the water, she actually transforms into this very interesting new form called Aqua Mothra. I love this form mainly because it's just so unique. It's different than any other Mothra we've really ever seen and probably have seen since. But I always thought Aqua Mothra looked really cool. And then of course, after that, we get Rainbow Mothra, which is pretty much just Mothra Leo, but different colors. But yeah, that's one thing I like in this movie. The forms are pretty cool. Another thing I really like about this movie is the soundtrack. I mean, some of the songs are just pretty standard, you know, they kind of sound generic sounding, but a lot of songs in the soundtrack are pretty kick-ass, especially Dagara's theme. The next thing I find good is the action. The action, I'd argue, isn't really even the best out of the Rebirth of Mothra trilogy, but it's fine. The fights with Mothra and Dagara on land are pretty okay, and then the fights in the water, actually, I think I prefer, which is surprising, because usually I don't prefer underwater fights. But yeah, they make the action work in this film. Alright, the last really good thing I find about this movie is the kaiju, the enemy kaiju, Dagara. Now, I love Dagara. I think he's a really underrated kaiju, especially being Mothra's only original enemy, which is why this is my favorite thing about Rebirth of Mothra 2, because instead of just using a Ghidorah like 1 and 3 did, they actually made a new original kaiju. Which is one small thing I had about the first and last movie, is that I think I love Death Ghidorah, and at least it's our first 4-legged Ghidorah, so it's not just, you know, King Ghidorah from the Godzilla series, but with Rebirth of Mothra 3, it's just King Ghidorah from the Godzilla series. There's no real difference other than a slight design change. And this one kidnaps children. Huh. But going back to Dagara, I really do love this kaiju. But another kaiju in the movie is Barum. They're basically just mutated sea stars. They're fine. They don't really have a big role in this movie at all. However, they did recently make an appearance along with Dagara in the Godzilla Monster Planet novel thing. And also, Dagara did make a recent cameo in Godzilla Monster Planet. Or Planet of the Monsters, whatever you want to call it. Alright, last of the good would be effects. Now, effects-wise for this movie, just like the action, they're pretty standard. They're what you expect. But there are some flaws, like one of them is when Belvira is chasing the little kids through the forest, and the kid jumps up in the air, and then he just does a normal jump, and then he lands like a mile away on a beach. It's like, what the hell happened? But another example of the effects in this movie not looking too well are the chase scenes with the fairy Mothra and Garu Garu. Yeah, these scenes didn't look that good. They looked pretty fake. But I can forgive it for that, because I can't imagine these scenes were the easiest to make real looking. I mean, the technology just clearly wasn't really there yet. So I can forgive it for that. Yeah, but yeah, effects, they're pretty good. Now on to the bad. Now, first with bad, we have story. Now, it's not the worst, it's pretty standard. I mean, this one, surprisingly, actually, this one takes the whole environmental message, it takes a step back a little bit. It's not so forced in your face like the first one is. but it's there a little bit with the Barum, how it's infecting the water and stuff, but I never really had that big a problem with it. I mean, I like that they had to go to the temple and all that, but the story was just kind of forgettable. Next bad, Go-Go. I hate this thing. It's like a Furby that pees on things to revive them and heal them. Yeah, that was a thing in this movie. Good God. I don't know, but I always just found this thing kind of stupid. Alright, now in my opinion, the worst thing about Rebirth of Mothra 2 is the characters. My God. Now let's go back to Rebirth of Mothra 1 for a second. The characters in that movie were actually kind of decent. I really like the characters, I like the family, and I like the chemistry they have. This movie, on the other hand, good lord. I can't think of a single character I really cared about. I mean, we had the parents, but they didn't do too much in the movie. We had the fairy. The fairies are still fine, so is the evil fairy Belvira, but the characters I have a problem with are the kids. The kids are annoying, which is, again, surprising, because the kids in the last one were actually decent actors. And I'm not saying these ones are technically bad actors, but these kids were just annoying the whole time they were on screen. I was like, good God, shut up. Sure, they got better later on in the film, they weren't as annoying, but I just really didn't care for any of the characters in this film. But anyways, that's pretty much my good and bad on Rebirth of Mothra 2. What do you guys think about the movie? What do you think is good? What do you think is bad? And what other movies do you want me to maybe do a good and bad on? I have 2 more planned. I won't say them here, you know, might as well leave it as a surprise. But yeah, I definitely have 2 more planned, and you can request movies in the comments if you want me to do a good and bad on them. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one.